Welcome to the Kobe Bryant Film Room, and I've got another episode for you guys today. I've got a Bob Cousy episode for you guys from the Wilt Chamberlain Archive. Now, I don't know if this is his name. Once again, I'm going to call him the Wilt Chamberlain Archive for the purposes of this video. But I love his basketball breakdowns and educating the youth on the game of basketball from the prior eras. The pre-modern era, right? The 50s, 60s, 70s, right? So as you guys know, or if you don't know, Bob Cousy was a point guard from the 50s who played all the way up to the 1970s. And he was known as the Houdini of the hardwood, can handle the basketball, brought that street ball flair to, in playground basketball, flair to the professional game. So I wanted to talk about this because there's been a lot of disrespect when talking about the previous eras all the way up to this one. So, of course, everything that we're seeing now we think is better, from our generation. But this is a perspective, right? A different perspective. And I always tell people, don't look at history from your time back. You look at it from their time to us, their time forward. That's how you look at history, to get the most accurate depiction as you possibly can. So without further ado, we're going to get into the criticisms of that era and Mr. Hall of Famer Bob Cousy.
Okay, so in this episode, I'd like to talk about Bob Cousy. And I'd like to talk about kind of specifically basketball fans' perception of Bob Cousy in 2024. Is it accurate? What's a fair way of comparing him? And I'm going to pivot off of some comments that were made by JJ Redick and Gilbert Arenas. I'll sort of react to what I'm seeing here. I also put together some clips of my own from Bob Cousy, so let's get right into it.
He's not Bob Cousy. He's not Bob Cousy.
Bob Cousy couldn't dribble with his left hand. Celebrate Bob Cousy in his era.
So already we're starting off with the disrespect. And what do you know? It's JJ Redick, right? The coach of the Lakers. Now, of course, I'm speaking of this after he got the job. Of course, this was 6 months ago, as you guys can see on the screen. But as you know, this guy's been running around disrespecting legends before he's gotten that job. So what do you know?
But you can't compare pre-1980 with
yes, you can.
With the modern NBA. No, you cannot. No, you
Cousy,
cannot.
You can't compare that era like direct. The rules have changed. I don't know how much or how little JJ personally knows about basketball, like how it was played when Bob Cousy played.
He doesn't know shit. Now I know you can't say that, but I would say that he doesn't know shit. And he displays his lack of knowledge when he speaks. Or I give him this, he doesn't care.
I tend to think that JJ and then Gilbert, who we'll see here, I tend to think they might not know as much about how the game has changed as they do about like the modern game of basketball. Like
they don't know the modern. No, I'm just playing. They know the game, but this is the thing. I think they're compromised, from clutch sports and things like that. I don't think these guys are out there to be fair. I think they're there to promote the modern day game because they have affiliations with the NBA and LeBron James. So.
Know a tremendous amount about the modern game of basketball. But, yeah, we'll see here.
Can you compare Cousy with Weston Oscar?
The great players can play in any era. There's no doubt about that.
Cousy was first team All the NBA when Weston Oscar were playing. And he was first team All NBA. That's against Weston Oscar. Well, first team All NBA. Has Paul ever been first team All NBA?
Did Bob Cousy ever shoot over 40% from the field?
Well, we understand that.
Did he ever shoot over 40%?
Probably 39, 40%. Different time.
And this is the argument you get from a lot of guys. This percentage argument that makes absolutely no sense. You're dealing with different rules. So it makes no sense to just throw out percentages. But they know that the younger generation hears that and they get excited. Oh, yeah, he's right. Big numbers.
Not once. Not once.
That's fair. He also had 29 assists in an NBA game.
Oh, well, you know, he was being guarded by plumbers and firemen.
You see how dismissive he was of 29 assists? Like, that's crazy. 29 assists is not easy to do in any era.
Your first player, Bob Cousy. Bob from the 50s? Bob, but you gotta play in the janky shoes, the janky, I don't even know if they had
Why not
shots.
play in his era? Can he play in my era?
Okay.
I get my same talent?
Yeah, you're saying.
Come on, bro.
You Bob Cousy not locking you up?
No, man.
Spinning around in
Come on, man.
circles.
These damn mailmans and, you know,
How much?
store clerks.
So you have Bob Cousy guarding you, like, and you show up, he's like, Bob Cousy's guarding you, are you just cracking up?
What? I'm laughing. I'm laughing.
All right. So I gotta say, you know, Gil wouldn't be the kind of player he was if he didn't think he would match up favorably against just about anyone in best NBA history. So I'm not going to really fault him for that. In fact, I actually think he's kind of right on the money that he, you know, one-on-one, he's too big for Bob Cousy, and he's got.
Well, let me tell you something about Gil. Gil was disrespectful of John Stockton. And we seen the footage on that. He got his ass whooped going against John Stockton.
He's got his game is more built around one-on-one. That's irrespective of eras here, but I will get into Gil he still probably underestimates Bob Cousy in that respect. And I don't know what he thinks about Bob Cousy in a 5-on-5, but, you know, I'm going to try to showcase, like, hey, the 5-on-5 was Bob Cousy's bread and butter. Definitely not.
And interesting enough, I think Gilbert shot around 40%. Y'all correct me in the comment section. I think he was around 40%. So it's funny as hell them criticizing a guy for shooting 40%.
ISO basketball or one-on-one basketball. Even though Cousy probably could do that, but
The skill level at that time really wasn't developed. Okay, so it's just like you sitting here trying to do all this. I ain't even got to worry about a crossover. Stop.
So basically he's talking about that palms down dribble. And palms down was how you had to dribble back then. So let's take a look.
See, that's a crossover. And see how he got penalized for that? Like, he went to his move. They do that all the time in today's game. Let's go.
Palms down was how you had to dribble back then. So let's take a look.
See, he's capable of doing it. They just ain't let him.
The other way, and they're going to call him out of dribbling violation. He's on the ball.
So that would not get called at all today. That's basically how NBA
That's John Morant right there,
build
yo.
their game today, is off of this ability to put your hands on the side of the ball and
Look at
basically
that.
carry.
That's actually a carry. That's a full carry in front of the
the
referee.
rules of the pass. This is
That is a crime. Let's go back and see what Giannis is doing. This is a
this
crime, bro.
ability.
Especially you're letting a dude fucking 6'11", 7 feet tall dribble like that down the court. You can't stop him, bro. That's a carry.
To put your hands on the side of the ball.
Look at this shit.
And
Oh my
basically carry
God.
it along by the rules of the past. This is 1970s basketball here. I'll show another clip that's 1970s Lakers and 1970s ABA versus NBA. I don't have too many examples of palming or carrying from the 50s or 60s. Actually, I have none that I can think of off the top of my head, but that's because everybody knew not to push the envelope for ball handling.
Well, today, my hand will be under the ball because you
The late great Jerry West, man. R.I.P.
couldn't. I mean, you carry the ball all over the place today, but
Look at that move. Look at that move. Wet. Oh,
ABA looking to run every time. Here's Ralph Simpson in the game now in backcourt.
damn.
On the ball. First time he got it. And the NBA gets it back.
Yeah, they really calling that close. Now you saw what Giannis did. Giannis looked like he was carrying a bag to the grocery store.
That would not get. It's not even close. Not even close. I see that all the time today. Now, by the way, you could do a crossover back then. So these next clips, they'll show you could do a crossover. So here's Oscar Robertson.
See how the big old did it.
But you
Ooh,
just
that
had
was
to
clean.
You had to keep your hand on top of the ball.
Ooh,
Here's
that was
Archie Clark
clean. He
doing it.
bopped him.
Archie Clark was good.
Yeah,
Archie Clark was one of the first
Clark
players
getting busy.
that really.
And it's good to learn these names, man, when you go back and you study these players. Archie Clark with that crossover, that shit was clean.
On a regular basis,
That shit was real clean.
weaponized the crossover. Oscar did it a little bit, you can see. Jerry West did a little bit. Archie Clark is not a superstar from that era. He was an all-star a few times, but Archie Clark is one of the first guys that
Look
really
at this.
turned it
Boom.
into a weapon.
Hit him.
That crossover.
Shit. That's deadly
Again,
for
he's gotta keep his
and he
palms
followed
on
the
top
rules too.
of the ball.
The skill level at that time really wasn't developed. Okay, so it's just like you sitting here trying to do all this. I ain't never got to worry about a crossover. Stop.
I played that clip again because
Play that clip again because Gil sounds like a pompous ass. Yeah.
I think he's kind of referencing that he's seen clips of Bob Cousy doing that dribble. Bob Cousy did that as a defensive dribble, not an offensive dribble, and in the sense that he was stalling basically to close out games where his Celtics had the lead, and he became famous for that. You know, I think that might also be a misunderstanding by Gil, that's how Bob Cousy played one-on-one. He did not play one-on-one like that. He was playing keep away. So
He was toying. He was basically toying with him. Basically.
I think that might also be a misunderstanding by Gil, that's how Bob.
Look at the
Cousy
handles
played
on
one-on-one.
Bob
He did not
Cousy
play
on this
one-on-one
clip.
like that. He just
Look at the
he was
handles
playing
on
keep
this
away.
next clip.
So that's clips like this right here. He just slaps it, top of the ball because he's got to do palms down dribble.
That's pretty
He's
good
just
for
doing this
dribbling
to
with
show
your
off. Basically,
fingertips.
Again, Bob Cousy's playing in handcuffs, so he's just playing keep away here. He's just draining the clock. This is a famous clip, usually played back in slow motion, where
They try to make it seem like he doing that shit the whole game. And I can imagine if you're an old school player listening to these motherfuckers talk about you, and they talk about you as like you're part of the circus or some shit.
Bob Cousy's playing in handcuffs, so he's just playing keep away here. He's just draining the clock. This is a famous clip, usually played back in slow motion, where that guy trips.
Oh, that's a good ass
like
pass.
He broke his ankles, but this is Bob Cousy doing it at his
Little
camp.
whippersnapper guard.
Again, you see Bob Cousy has to touch only the top of the ball. At no point does he rake it across and go left to right and carry it.
That's hard to do.
Modern
Man.
players do.
Look at all the kids
This is
following.
because he's playing under the rules of that era, so he conditioned himself to be an exceptional ball handler like that.
Curly knee.
Like the Harlem Globetrotters here. These were the best ball handlers on the planet.
That's nasty.
And that's how they dribbled. This is a 1950s clip that I threw in here of a college player, just to show you that just because Bob Cousy didn't weaponize his dribble and use it offensively, like how I mentioned Archie Clark kind of did, doesn't mean that Bob Cousy couldn't have. Here's a 1950s college player who is using his handle to create space on offense, like sort of how we're used to modern players doing it. But again, he still has to do it with the palms down dribble. So if you look here, he sham gods, freezes the defender.
Okay. He got busy right there.
Again, knocks the defender
Off
back.
glass.
Yeah, you couldn't play that way back then. That's not how Bob Cousy was. Bob Cousy was not an ISO player like this. So Gil's right. Gil would beat him in one-on-one, but
Well, Gil's bigger. I think Gil's around 6'3", 6'4". Gil's stronger than him, quicker than him. So Gil would give him a hard time. I think Cousy was like, what, 6'1"? You know, but basketball's about matchups too. So he's right. That wasn't his game. His game was more facilitate, get people involved, shit like that.
not what Bob Cousy does. So let's get into what Bob Cousy did do best, which is open court basketball. And Bob Cousy had a really gifted mind for open court basketball. He also had excellent peripheral vision. If you look at pictures, like his eyes are like on the side of his head almost. It's kind of like Steve Nash was like that.
That is funny, and I didn't notice that till he said that right now. Like, that's funny. Because you kind of look at pictures and now you're looking at his eyes like, yeah, his eyes were a little off.
And Bob Cousy also had other, basketball attributes. Even though he was only 6'1", he had long arms, big hands.
Ooh, look at those hands. Look at those mitts, y'all. Man, gigantic. See, that's what he's talking about. This is what a lot of people don't realize, bro. His hands are like, it looks like a Muppet hand, bro. Like Big Bird's hands, bro. That's a claw. That ain't no damn hand.
Long fingers.
Golly.
9 yards that helped him be an exceptional point guard.
And he's not tall. He's not big, but he's like a freak, bro. Can you imagine a dude like, hey, let me get that apple for you. Let me get that orange for you. Like, yeah, big hand ass.
Physically, even though today you might look at him and be like, well, he didn't lift weights. Nobody lifted weights back then, but a few players. So, you can't really fault him for that. If he played today, obviously he would be under a much different, physical regimen to be in shape for basketball. But back then, cardio was kind of the emphasis. So he didn't do anything with his upper body. But he had long arms, excellent peripheral vision. He did have basketball talent, even though he was only 6'1". So here we'll get into some Bob Cousy highlights of what he did best.
Let's get it. Behind the back, okay.
His famous behind the back, which sets him up for
Behind the
shots
back
and
pass,
passes.
too.
Behind the back bounce passes, good baseball passes.
Full court.
And you see him do a
Pull up,
jump
okay.
shot. One-handed push shot. And the jump shot off a spin.
Okay. He is styling on.
There's that behind the back.
Ooh,
now he's doing
okay.
it to set players up.
Yo,
for
you have to know where your player's gonna be to be
set
throwing
his
shit like
teammates up
that
for the
too.
assist.
Yeah, he's got instincts. He's got great passing
Very good at
instincts.
leading the players.
Feels for the game. Look at that.
It's a blind behind the back pass.
Look
in
at
the
that.
All-Star game.
That's an incredible shot.
By the way,
too.
for his size, seems like a decent finisher around the rim.
Yeah, that was a
We'll
pretty
get
good
into
finish.
his field goal percentage later, but he seems to have good control.
Yeah.
And knows how to hesitate in midair.
Okay. Oh.
Just behind the back.
Hold on, he got somebody on that. Chicken wrap. Chicken wrap. Hold on. Behind the back, he gone. He out of bounds.
Back. Ooh, touch pass. Nice touch
Good
pass. Here, watch that one again.
Yeah, he froze homeboy.
This is another All-Star game.
Damn. Yeah, that's a good move.
Nice floor over the big. You see him taking on the post.
Okay, good steal. Oh, good pass.
Nice. So that jump shot would set up that he could fake.
That was smooth. I don't see people doing that shit today. Maybe LaMelo and Jokic could do something like that. Not many players doing that.
Baseball pass. There's that behind the back again. This time setting up for a shot.
Good pass.
So
Bill Russell,
now this
number
one
6 right
shows
there.
that he does freeze and triple threat. Like he's going to shoot. Like this would kind of go into a shooting motion here. You see how he normally shoots. He normally does a one-handed push shot. It's kind of unorthodox. You wouldn't see that today very often.
Nah, you ain't gonna see that on the playground.
Except for players doing like desperation shots or off balance. Bob Cousy kind of did that on a regular basis. But here you see he's trying to see if his defender comes up on him. And he just goes inside, dishes it to Bill Russell.
Oh, good pass.
So I did want to talk about
Havlicek.
field goal percentage here. J.J. Redick mentioned that Bob Cousy never shot over 40% for his career, and he's right about that. So Bob Cousy shot 37.5% from the field for his career. You have to understand that the league average during this time was 39%. So Bob...
You see that? League average, 39%. So 37 isn't bad.
Cousy is only 1.5 percentage points below league average. By comparison, J.J. Redick is about 1% below league average through his playing career. Russell Westbrook is about 1.9 percentage points below league average throughout his career. So Bob Cousy is...
You know what I would like to see? Because these guys criticize the old school players, I would like to actually see them respond to a video like this. That would be cool, but they don't ever do that. It's like they're too big to apologize or admit they're wrong or even engage in the conversation. But I would like to see it because he did this in a professional way. Like me, I do my thing a little bit different, but he did this in a real professional way, and he's being really polite to them, even though they're being disrespectful.
Between a Westbrook and a Redick with field goal percentage, both of whom were effective, very effective guards in the modern game. And
I see that alcohol in the back, Will Chamberlain archives. You be getting right though.
Bob Cousy's kind of like sandwiched in between them on efficiency. You can't take anything away from the impact these players made, only being 1 or 2 percentage points off from league average as guards. Bob Cousy is 1.5 percentage points off from league average as a guard. That means when he's setting up outside, he's a threat to shoot from outside, and that means when he comes in for layups, he's a threat to make those layups.
Yes, sir.
At a reasonable rate. The conditions that the players had to play in the field, it's very different than today's game. There's no.
It's difficult because the referees are against you. Now it seems like the referees are for you. Especially the Lakers with JJ.
Charge circle in the paint.
Good pass. Damn. They called that a charge. That's crazy. And there is no charge circle. That's crazy. It's hard to play like that, yo. That's criminal.
The paint is...
And they wonder why Bill Russell's percentage wasn't high like that.
Smaller in Bob Cousy's career. The lane is only 12 feet. Traveling violations.
It's crazy. Damn. They did that with the 2.
Check guard himself. He gets off the shot.
Yeah.
Traveling.
A lot of you guys are doing like this, facing him, and then you step. That's traveling. And unfortunately, they haven't got the ball.
Also in starting off the Boston offense.
That's true.
You do this, get the ball.
That's crazy. So he's actually retraining the NBA to play real basketball. That's wild. That's how that lets you know it's like an entertainment aspect that goes into it. And it's cool. It's no knock. There's really no knock. It's an entertainment thing. But they're like, yo, this is real basketball you're going to play. Like real basketball the way it's supposed to be played. That's international ball. But I get it. The playground version is real basketball too. So, yeah, you gotta let some things go just for entertainment value. So, yeah.
There we go. Now, so anything where your foot leaves before the ball comes down.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot move the pivot foot no matter what before you dribble.
So if I want to go right, you got that ball there.
Or you're going to be like really low and push the slide. You have to tell it to the referee that you cannot be just doing this.
And I kind of like the way he showed the new school players too. It's like it's his way of I don't know if he's petty like I am, but it's his way of delivering a little shot. Like, look, even though it's the facts, like look what they doing, bro. Like look at that.
Palming violations, carrying violations, all of these things were way more strict. Offensive players were handcuffed in Bob Cousy's era. The defensive
they violate
players
that every game.
Oh, and offensive foul calls were way easier to draw back then. You basically did not have to have your feet set or give your offensive
That's
player,
insane.
room to-
Imagine a person not having their feet set. You would be pissed off as an offensive player. Like, they get credit for the charge. You're like, how? He's still moving with me. Yeah. Yeah, I'd be pissed too. Bob Cousy lit. He mad as hell. I'm like, damn, bro. It's real tough to be an offensive player. Call that on me. I'm on the floor.
Going in.
You gotta avoid them. They're like cones, bro. You gotta, like, they could have really used the Euro step back then. You gotta avoid these dudes like cones. This is insane. I definitely would get fouled out.
Boston picking up across.
With rules like this, everybody's field goal percentage was down. Almost everybody's.
Everybody.
That's why the whole league average. I should mention the whole league average here. The league average field goal percentage in Bob Cousy's time was 39%. As I had mentioned, today, for the past 3 decades, it's about 45.7.
Mm-hmm.
So, with all the offensive freedom players have, and the way defensive players don't have as many tools in their toolbox nowadays, a couple of percentage points higher in average field goal percentage.
And I kind of explained this in the last video I did on Wilt Chamberlain Archives, that a lot of the players had to go towards the baseline to shoot the jumper to avoid the defense. Like, it's crazy.
Percentage is, like, I would think that's to be expected.
That's crazy.
So, that's something that people should keep in mind when they're talking about Bob Cousy. Or trying to figure out how to evaluate him as a player. You can't really punish him for shooting 40%, less than 40% from the field, when he's only 1.5% different than league average. Like that.
Not only that, but everybody was shooting that percentage during his time. So it's stupid. It's stupid.
That's how you have to look at him in that context.
Kyrie Irving was transported and teleported into a 1960s finals game 7. They would look at him like he was a wizard.
You have to judge players in their time. You can't take a player 60 years from now and throw him back.
But the context of playing against...
And look, listen, Kyrie's, we consider him the best ball handler of all time, but he would have to adjust that shit. You know, it reminds me of when they took away Allen Iverson's move, where they called it a carry, which it was, but it was street ball, is the way they played street ball. So each era has their distinct thing, and as basketball progressed, we realized we wanted to be more entertained by the skill sets, by the playground game, because those guys like Bob Cousy and those guys during that era, they could do that in a street ball setting. Like he said, the Globetrotters used to do that all the time. So we implemented that a little bit in the NBA to provide that entertainment. And I'm glad they let them get away with it a little bit, but sometimes they let them get away with murder. And I think that's the difference with JJ and Gil's not getting into. Like, bro, these dudes get away with murder. And you want to talk about field goal percentage?
Archie Clark, Don Freeland had position on him, and Clark is called for an offensive foul. And we'll look at it again here. That's a stutter step, then he darted to...
Yeah, that's supposed to be a blocking foul, not a charge. Today that's a blocking foul.
And both feet are not in place by the defensive
He's
player.
still moving.
In fact, Archie's left foot lands on
you
the
can hurt
left
somebody
foot of
like
the
that.
defensive player as it's still sliding.
Yeah, you could hurt somebody like that. I couldn't play like that.
It's a charge on Archie.
Damn near football.
They would look at him like he was a wizard.
It was a terrible call.
I'm not going to give you that opportunity,
You know what I'm
Chris.
saying? The ref said if he could dribble like that, he'd play in the league.
The last thing I'd like to talk about is Bob Cousy's left hand. Does he always dribble with his left hand going left? No, but he never loses control of the ball. And
ball control.
again, with all the rules and all things considered in his era, he doesn't even set up the same way that a lot of players would play today. You know, he's not.
Well, you know what cracks me up about this left hand shit? They say Michael Jordan couldn't go left. And the funny part about that is like, bro, you know what you're saying, right? You're saying a guy who couldn't go left won 6 championships and dominated. Meaning they couldn't stop him. He was so good, they couldn't even stop him with one hand. That's basically what you're saying. It's ridiculous, bro. Of course Michael Jordan could go left. Look at the footage. Just look at the game film. Stop following people and listening to what media pundits say or these people on the internet say. Look at film. Film kills everything.
A guy who did not work on his left hand. He's got some tremendous finishing ability with his left hand, which we'll see here.
Okay. So look. That's a hook shot. See, this is against all the narratives right here. So you see film, whoever says they couldn't dribble with their left, you see film of him dribbling with his left, and you see film of him with the hook shot, left-handed.
Left-hand runner.
There it is.
Behind the back, left-hand pass.
Left-hand
Another runner.
hook.
It's a separate one. Behind the back pass, left-handed. The left-handed
That's hard to
off-balance
do.
shot under the basket.
That's tough right there.
Another off-balance in midair. This one he's wrapped up, left-handed, throws it up. This is just a simple pivot. He can do a lot of hook shots with his left hand. On the run, in the post.
Yeah.
That's a little floater. Left hand finish following the shot.
Yeah.
This is just showing
He had that in his
back and
bag.
drill, which is how he dialed in that left-handed hook.
That's all left-handed
And
too.
left-handed free throw.
That's left-handed. Right-handed. That's right-handed.
Actually came after he made like 9 consecutive right-handed free throws. He threw in one with the left hand.
He just showing off at that point.
I think that's kind of like in film lore that he, during the whole take, he never missed while they were talking. So
I know NBA players today who can't make their free throws. Guess who those players are?
I don't know if that's true or not. It seems like it might be true because he's a former NBA player. He was a pro. Am I going to change a lot of people's minds about Bob Cousy? You know, probably not. People are going to have their minds made up on players like him.
But that's sad because you're showing film, you're showing footage. But I know what you're saying because I deal with it on my channel. People are biased. And, you know, sometimes we got to live through knowing people are going to be biased even after you show them the proof. You know, in psychology, even though you show somebody proof, doesn't mean they'll change, right? So, but this is video film footage. It's undeniable, but people will still deny it. It's amazing what the human mind will do to comfort itself.
I'm hoping, you know, there's a lot of you that like weren't sure about like how to analyze his game or what to look for. You know, why did he play that way is one of the most important contexts I think that you can have for understanding how Bob Cousy played. Almost any of the players from that era, by today's standards, all those players are very handcuffed with what they can do, especially with dribbling. And, well, not just especially with dribbling, driving, post-ups,
everything.
The game back then was very much catered towards favoring defense.
Yeah.
It was just one-on-one defense back then, but they gave the one-on-one players a lot. They gave the one-on-one defenders a lot in their toolkit, and the offensive players had a lot less in their toolkit.
And that's true because when you see that blocking foul that should have been called, it was a charge, and they gave guys leeway to do a block. They double hand check back then, so they double hand checking you while you can't dribble, with, you can't dribble with your palm up. You got to dribble your fingertips on the ball. They pushing you. They knock you off the spots. Damn near playing football, trying to beat you to the spot instead of staying in front of you. And if somebody did that to you, bro, you'd be pissed off because you go to one spot and then they're bumping you off that spot and they're allowed to do it. So playing basketball like that is probably beyond frustrating. It would be for me, but I guess they were used to it. So
get back then. So I think that's important to understand. Let me know what you think about this video. Let me know what you think about Bob Cousy. I'm planning on doing a lot more videos like this.
Please do.
I've got like 30 ideas right off the bat. I'm trying a new format here to see if I can get more videos.
I love footage like this.
Often. This is a little less.
This is my granddad right there getting dunked.
And a little bit more of my own
sir.
Thoughts and opinions in the mix. And if you guys like it, I've got plenty more video ideas like this.
Keep them coming, man. I'll do some reactions to them. Keep them coming, man. These videos are amazing, and you have really good quality footage. Kind of reminds me of the Sporting Page a little bit. Sporting Page has really, really good quality footage as well. Subscribe to Sporting Page. I was checking out his Cousy versus Jerry West video the other day, and I was thinking about doing this video a long time ago, but he made me want to even do this video even more, and he has great content. Subscribe to him.
It could be about a wide variety of players or topics. I'm also open to your guys' feedback. So, if you've got some ideas of what I could review, drop them in the comments.
It's awesome. Okay. Get into a little highlight reel right here. Bill Russell.
Looking for the breaking man. There it is. The Sanders deflected by Johnny Kerr.
They ran the break, too. Them boys is flying up the court. Them boys is flying up the court right now. Good shit. Oh, good pass. Ooh, okay. That's instinct right there.
Bob, describe the changes.
He earned that nickname, Houdini of the Hardwood. This man was a beast.
In basketball, from the
Passes
time
are
you
crazy.
were one of the best to play the game, to the period that you were coach, and finally to being an NBA analyst.
I guess it was more simple when we played, and I
That's
think
that left-handed hook.
I was going to say the coaches that complicated it. I'm not sure. That's probably an easy answer. Maybe it's a reflection of some of their insecurities, because the game has become much more structured and much more disciplined.
Y'all appreciate the legends while they still here. Bob Cousy's still here with us right now. So give him his flowers while he's still here, and stop trying to play him in his era, man. Because we just lost Jerry West, and he was one of the best to ever do it, especially one dribble, two dribble pull up. His shot was insane.
The transitional part of the game, which I grew up with, we featured on those great select teams, even in college. At every level, most of the offenses that were being played were transitional in nature. You had to go control in terms of half-court sets and calling plays or systems. You did that if the fast break or the transition part of the game didn't work. Now that's completely reversed. Even on a professional level, everything is kind of by design. And in my humble judgment, the game is a game of free flow. The option to the play, for instance, works better than the play itself in basketball. The defense tells you, the offensive player or the point guard, what to do, what to create, what to develop, etc. So we don't see this as much anymore. There are 29 teams in the NBA. Perhaps 4 of them are focusing on some degree of the transitional game. most of them, the coaches like to jump up and hold up fingers every time down. Well, obviously, if you have to stop and see what the coach wants you to do offensively, forget the transition game. You know, it's not going to happen. Obviously, as an old-timer, I would make a strong argument in any forum that the transitional part of the game should be in every coach's arsenal at any level.
If I were arguing my case in court, I'd say I'd put my creative instinct.
Yeah, he definitely was a transition basketball player.
In fact, in how I saw the floor, and all we did was run. We didn't have any freaking plays. We had 6 plays, and if we never called them, Outback was a happy camper. That meant we blew their doors off with the transition game. And that's what, but each time down in transition, the scenario changes, and you, the point guard, have to adjust and do obviously what's best to achieve result. Put the ball in the hole, give it to someone, make scorers out of the other 4 people, all that. And so I would not take a back seat. I think that obviously
it's fantastic.
The successful teams are all team-oriented, because the game can't be played without 5 guys. Well, actually, again, in my judgment, it's a 7 or an 8-man game. So you have to integrate 5 or 8 people together and doing it in a cohesive, unselfish manner in order to reach the top of whatever level you're at. The NBA or professional sports is also showbiz, so now that they've developed the high-profile players in basketball, especially that are known literally all over the world, you know, obviously this is what we hear about, what the ESPNs and the, you know, the sports channels of the world feature, because they know that you, the fan, if you're going to pay $80 to see grown men play a child's game, you want to relate to, and it's easier to relate to.
And that's the thing that people don't understand. When we're having these conversations and we're going back and forth, we're forgetting the money-making machine. We're forgetting corporations. People are greedy. They want to make money off these players. And they want to make money off you, the fans, while you're watching this. They want to get paid. This is a multi-million-dollar industry, billion-dollar industry, matter of fact. Nike, all these Under Armour, all these sports shoes, Adidas, and everything. You know, people are making bank off these players, commercials, advertisements, etc., etc., TV deals, sponsorships, Gatorade, all that. So it's there better be some entertainment to this, and just don't make it all entertainment. That's my thing, right? But I'm going to go ahead and stop it right here, y'all. Y'all like and subscribe to the content. Appreciate each and every era of basketball. Stop hating. Stop lying. Like and subscribe. Follow me at Behind the Bench Sports Network, and follow me here, Kobe Bryant Film. Peace.